So a rotary current is not a current that goes in a circle like that. It's not a whirlpool that's spinning you around. What a rotary current is it's a current that instead of just always having two directions, it's either going in on a flood or out on an ebb, and it just instantly reverses the other way when you reach max. When you reach slack water, it just comes in and then pulls back immediately. What a rotary current will do at a given location, it might be here, and then 20 minutes later, it's there. 20 minutes later, it's pointing there, and there, and there, and so on. So the direction of the current is rotating, and it slowly goes from pointing one way to pointing that way, that way, that way, and continues until it goes in a full circle. It's not spinning you, though. If you were in the water here, you wouldn't just be going in a circle. You would be pushed this way, and then later on the day, you'd be pushed that way and that way, so on. And obviously, it doesn't always have to go clockwise. Some of them go counterclockwise. It's a consequence of weird geography of like eddies in the water of different tributaries connecting with one another, or just islands blocking the currents. So it kind of happens at random in specific locations where the conditions are conducive to it. And the way you calculate it is you come to the rotary currents table, which you can see is now the next section after this duration of slack, which is right here. You just come down. There's your rotary currents. And here are the tables you use for it. So it's kind of really hard to read. I hope you'll be able to see it. But you can see on the side, it says here, hours after, well, firstly, here's its location. So a lot of them happen in generally the same area. You can see this is all Georges Bank, which is somewhere in Massachusetts. And Georges Bank continues for a while. We've got the exact location of each spot. They're off by, a very minor amount, a couple miles apart from one another. And for each of them, it says hours after maximum flood at Pollock Rip Channel. And then 1 hour after, the current will be headed this direction with a speed of 1.4 knots, or that was 0 hours. 2 hours after will be this direction, 1.6 knots, and so on. So all you need to do for this, if they were to say, let's just scroll down to a different one in a different location. Here's Davis Bank, still in Nantucket. See, I don't know why, but Massachusetts is just weird with this stuff. Sandy Hook. Okay. So Sandy Hook. This one's now based off of the Narrows. All you would have to do is you would go to the Narrows to whatever specific day they're asking, because the question would say something like at 1400 on this day, what will be the speed and direction of the rotary current at Sandy Hook approach light, Horn Buoy 2A, and you would find the value of the maximum flood at the Narrows, find how far apart in time that value is from, I said, 1400. So let's say it's 3 hours. It happened 3 hours before the max, or before 1400. So you would come here and you would see, okay, the rotary current has a direction of 0.55 and a speed of 0.2 knots. If it was something 10 hours later, it'd have a direction of 290 at 0.3 knots, and so on. That's how you use all of these. There's plenty of them, but they're all relatively simple. Now, the one exception to that is if we come up here, I think it's up here. Yes. This is the Boston Harbor rotary currents. You can see right here it says time in hours after the minimum flood, the minimum before the flood at Boston Harbor. So Boston is just, I guess, a treacherous harbor with a lot of different rotary currents in different locations. So here are its various station numbers of the places where they happen, and I assume there's some index around here. I think that's it. Yeah, I believe that this is this is just footnotes. Somewhere here will give you the location of where each of these stations are, and then it works the same way. You just find the minimum before the flood at Boston Harbor, this many hours occurring after it. And then at each station, this will be its speed and direction, as shown right there. Knots, degrees, so speed, direction. I've never had a question that asked me about this. I've only ever had rotary current questions that were based off of these sections back here. But just know that if it's something to do with Boston, it's in the other section right there. But this is the majority of them. They're not that complicated.